Welcome back to another episode of the Game Time Ballers podcast. And today we got something special for you folks. As always, you got me as your host. We got Josh on the ones and twos, and we got a special guest that we'll talk about a little bit later. But first, let's talk about really the next big thing. The next big thing for us to make content in, and the next big thing to kind of play sports and baseball all year round in a state where they don't always have that opportunity. So with that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about Marcus, and then we'll get into some questions with him. So Marcus Robinson, he's the co-founder of our podcast here at the Game Time Ballers podcast. He's a huge sponsor of this. He's a Chicago native. He's an honorably discharged military veteran. He's a social entrepreneur. Marcus is also a creative professional with extensive expertise in graphic design, product development, and manufacturing. In 2017, Marcus got a chance to become a sports industry licensee, and he got to specialize in designing and distributing souvenir bats for Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, Major League Baseball Players Association, and the Negro Leagues. So currently, he's working on developing a multi-sports facility. We're going to talk about that sports facility. I'm so excited to share kind of like that we get to showcase this and really talk about the design in it and really get into the nitty gritty of this with the guy that's kind of doing and heading all of this project. So Marcus, with that being said, welcome to the Game Time Ballers podcast. We are super excited to hear about this complex, hear about the entertainment facility that could come with it, and pretty much everything that you're bringing into this project that could come to fruition and really be an awesome, awesome thing for this community. So with that being said, Marcus, you want to introduce yourself a little bit for our people?
Yeah, thank you, Jacob and Josh, for having me today on the show. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I remember when you both approached me with the idea to create a podcast that's at the intersection of sports and lifestyle. And it's very amazing to see how your platform has progressed, right? It's been, really
couldn't do it without you.
Well, hey, listen, I mean, it couldn't happen without you guys too. I mean, you guys are the driving force behind it. I just happen to be someone who came along at the right time and saw the talent, right? And so it's just tremendous, man, to work with you all. I've seen you guys just really just grow so quickly. But I think that you also had, somewhat of a thing for, the creativity, that has gone into this thing. I think I saw something early in Josh. I saw it in you. And then putting the two of you guys together was like, oh, man, this is magic. Like, wow, cool stuff. So, yeah, real excited, man, for you guys. And I want to continue to support you in any way that I possibly can. And so as for my journey, I've been a social entrepreneur involved in sports for most of my life, right, which has been a big reason for my success. Our primary goal is to expand the Game Time social impact brand to help you pursue excellence through sports, right? That's my thing, right? I think that, young people can learn a lot through sports, life skills, communications, just being able to be comfortable around different people that's going to reflect your journey in life. And so sports kind of provides you an opportunity to be able to develop, those soft skills. And so I'm really excited about, the projects that I've been working on over the last 10 years, but none of them have been quite like what I'm working on now. And so for the past couple of years, our executive team has been working with several communities to build a multi-sports facility. Sports tourism is a $600 billion marketplace, man. It's expected to reach nearly
and that's billion with
trillion. Yeah, billion with a B. And it's expected to reach nearly $3 trillion by 2033, right? So this is a very emerging market, right? Like, youth sports, it's so popular right now and it's growing fast, right? The outlook represents a tremendous opportunity for any local economy that desires to build a facility to host tournaments and leagues, right? And so we see a lot of this sports tourism that's taking place around the country. And the most common thing that I hear from program directors is that, man, we just don't have enough space, right, to operate, right? It's getting to a point now. I mean, of course, if we didn't allow kids to actually get some sleep at night, we'd probably be playing sports 24/7 in this country, right? Because that's how much people really, really care about it, right? And so, for us, our core vision, for the complex to create a state-of-the-art facility that serves as a catalyst for economic development while being a hub for youth sports, right? And, and recreation and community engagement and all those different things that you could do in a solid facility, right? A state-of-the-art facility, innovative.
And if you're a community and the parents, like if you're the community and the parents, like the people that you said you talked to, the coaches, what more can you want than kind of what you're really going to kind of start to tell these people about? Really, this facility can bring everything that people are looking for. So it's kind of a one size fits all solution to a lot of problems in the industry of youth sports.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, in fact, we're working with MLB in a project which, is kind of centered around youth baseball and softball, right? And so this project is, really rooted in our mission and aligned with our partnership with MLB and its Nike RBI program. And again, it's centered around introducing more youth to baseball and softball, but while also providing opportunities for personal and athletic development, right? So again, we see youth development through the lens of sports, right? I mean, everything that we do is kind of really wrapped around there. I mean, obviously, Jacob, you've been involved in sports, Josh, you guys have been involved in sports, and, you've been involved in sports, not only as an athlete, Jacob, but you're in the sales industry. Related to sports, right?
I've seen both ends of it. I've seen the money, handing out the money to people, and I've seen being the guy taking the money from people. So I see it from both sides.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing, man. I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of this.
Yeah. So kind of we're talking about the vision of this project. We kind of talked about some of the goals of this project based off of what things people had already told you. So I guess this will kind of lead into our next question. You've touched on it a little bit, but let's get really specific with this. How do you envision this complex, this massive complex, impacting the local community that it goes in and the local sports industry that it goes in?
Yeah. So again, I think it's all centered around the design of this facility and the intent, right? We aim to create a safe space where you can participate in sports and enrichment activities, right? And it requires a facility to do it. I mean, quite frankly, it requires this new game time picture that we're doing because we've thought about a lot of the different components that go into it from a design standpoint. I mean, as you mentioned, during your opening, my background is, extensive design. Like I see so many things through design, from what color socks am I going to wear with my shoes today? And what pants I'm going to pair with a shirt, right? Like, and of course, having a graphic design and a fashion design background, this facility really is a lot of, the things that I've worked so hard to do and develop throughout the years. A lot of those components have gone into thinking this through, right? I hired an architect and an engineering firm, once we came up with a crude, line drawing, and they brought this thing to life, and we'll see it later, during this interview. But,
you're in for a treat, folks.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. It's great, and then from a sports industry perspective, this facility is designed not only to support the Nike RBI program, but also attract travel ball tournaments and making it a regional sports destination, right, for that local economy. And so this is exactly what communities need right now. As you well know, I mean, youth are, struggling in so many different areas, right? And we need to build their confidence, right? And what better way to go about building a young person's confidence than to get them involved in some type of physical activity, whether it be competitive sports, whether it's recreational, or whether we just let kids go out and just run up and down a turf field and just have fun playing and getting out some of that energy.
So we've kind of talked about the goals, what you're looking to accomplish with this project. Now let's talk about the nitty gritty, the stuff that maybe not everyone always talks about, but we're going to talk about it. The development process of a project like this. What are some of the key milestones and phases in a development like this for a complex from conception to completion?
The development of this process is divided into several key phases. We started with a concept development and feasibility studies, which are already completed for Aurora, which is one of the communities that we're targeting. And it's also, we're nearing completion of a feasibility study for Rock Island, which is kind of another community that we've taken a really close look at. And we just finalized the design phase. And so the next steps, really for us is just, securing investment, going through this land acquisition process and then kind of moving into a construction phase once we're all funded, and then ultimately followed by a grand opening, So I'm excited, man, to be able to like go through every step and every phase of building this thing, right? And man, it's just great to be able to finally let the cat out the bag, and no better place to come and preview this thing than with you and Josh, man, and just really kind of, share with your audience. Excited.
So with that being said, folks, Game Time Ballers fans, if you're listening at this point and you're this far in the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Make sure you go check out Game Time Bats because Marcus is also involved with that. So yeah, we're always going to be bringing you content that no one else is going to be talking about. So we'll let you in on the little secret of the cool things that are coming. So let's kind of get back to talking to Marcus about this process. So Marcus, what do you think could be some of the unique challenges that you anticipate during the development phase? Because a lot of people always say you got to kind of expect the best, but plan for the worst. So kind of what is your thought process going into that?
Well, one of the challenges is coordinating with multiple stakeholders, including the city officials, investors, community groups, to ensure all interests are aligned, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, you got to get multiple people in the room at different times, but then you also have to get everybody on the same page at the same time, right? So that we can really kind of lift off with this rocket ship, so to speak. Part of it, when you start to, move forward in building this project, right? You got to manage the timelines, you got to manage the budgets effectively, and you got to really kind of be able to overcome some of the unexpected hurdles that occur with a construction project. Whether you're building a house or a large facility like this, there's always the chance where something unexpected may arise. Right. And so you've got to be prepared. You got to be able to pivot. And I think that for me, the way I approach, handling and anticipating these things that have come about is, focus on recruiting talented, experienced individuals to help with the process. I'm a big team first guy, as you guys know. I believe in team. And it's an opportunity to really bring on some very, talented visionaries, that could help us with this venture.